Hey everyone, welcome back to Roxham TV. We're coming to you from Merge Buenos Aires. I'm your host, Aaron Stanley, and I'm here with Robert Drost, who's the CEO of the Eigen Foundation. Robert, thanks for being here today.
Very happy to be here, thanks.
So why don't you tell us quickly about yourself and about Eigen Foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. Just me, myself, I'm a pretty simple guy. I worked in Silicon Valley Web2 space for quite a long time in my career. I came into crypto at this point about 8 years ago. Very interested in using crypto to essentially transform the entire internet, DeFi being the beginning, but to me really all of Web2, all of AI was the mission.
Yeah.
So about a year and a half ago, I joined EigenLayer. EigenLayer was getting close to doing its airdrop. It was getting close to releasing its token. It was very big in the news, everything else. It created a new category called restaking. A lot of people have first kind of heard about us from there. I'm happy to be on programs like this talking about, now that we've gone through the airdrop, now that like what has happened since then, what is really exciting for people who want to kind of catch up and understand why they're staking with EigenLayer, what are the opportunities for that and so forth.
Yeah, well, absolutely. We'd love to dive into that. So yeah, post airdrop, like what has been the developments in Eigen? Like what's who's building, like who's doing what, like what type of
Yeah, I think what's helpful, I do this, I think it's actually helpful for me to describe something quickly because most people in 2024, when they were hearing about EigenLayer, there was a focus on one important component of our protocol, which is that we are offering restake security to any protocol that wants to build on crypto. At this point, we're approaching 200 protocols that are building on us. We call them AVSs, autonomously verifiable services. Think about them as Web2 SaaS, Web2 apps that you've seen out there in the world, except that they add crypto decentralized trust. And for people who are staking, it's exciting because rewards come.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the risk of staking, with the work that's done by operators to run these protocols, just like running Ethereum validators, rewards are given to them. They're not chosen by us; they're chosen by the AVS protocols. So what's happened since the airdrop is we've really been filling out the rest of this marketplace. EigenLayer is a marketplace that connects 4 types of participants. The restakers who trusted us and came on, put their ETH and their stake into the protocol in 2024 leading up to our airdrop. That is one of the 4 components of the marketplace that we're connecting. You can think about it like a rectangle with something in each corner. So the stakers contributing to the total value lock, the TVL in our protocol, that was one. The second was the operators. Operators we're all familiar with them. They're these big staking protocols like Lido and Rocket Pool, and on EigenLayer, you have Coinbase and Binance. Everybody runs operators out there.
Yeah.
On EigenLayer, we've actually expanded this. Every single operator essentially who's running on Ethereum, plus a whole bunch of new people came into the space. Well over 100, even 200 operators are running on EigenLayer. Each of them is decentralized with hundreds of nodes. We have solo stakers from Ethereum who are running protocols on EigenLayer. So it's this huge market of essentially Web3 compute resources that are out there. And not just compute, we have operators that are bringing GPUs to the network. We have operators that are bringing high performance networking, that are bringing high performance storage. Everything that you would have in AWS at the hardware level is what operators bring. Then the next corner of the rectangle are these autonomously verifiable services. Think of them as SaaS, which we're all familiar to from the cloud. This is how people make money, building software and deploying it in Web2. The AVSs are that version of those kind of apps. They create a lot of value for consumers. They provide software to other software as middleware. Like I said, we have quite a few of them. 40 are live on our chain. We actually don't have a chain on our market. And then, like I said, we're approaching 200 that are in the pipeline who are going to be releasing.
Okay.
Over the course of this year. New people are constantly coming on. It's a very that's maybe something we should talk about a little bit. Like, why is it so exciting? Why are people coming on? We've been called last year in 2024 the fastest developer ecosystem in all of crypto.
Yeah.
And the reason is you look at how many people are coming on there. There's something that we captured, this magic in a bottle in our protocol. So that's the third part of the market that we're putting together. And the fourth part is the consumers. If you look at what is the most exciting thing that we can do for crypto is we can bring over people from Web 2 and show them that there's something fun and useful they want to be doing on crypto. If you look at sort of closing the value loop, The users bring in the daily active use, the monthly income, the revenue, and other things for the protocols.
Yeah.
So they're actually the ones that are making AVSs successful financially. That money is then flowing in as rewards to operators and ultimately back to stakers. So we're building an entire ecosystem around this one concept of restaking, which allows decentralized trust to be a new market available to protocols and really projecting the power and the value of crypto out into the Web 2 world.
Yeah, I love that. I love the marketplace component of it, right?
Exactly.
Because you're bringing it. You know, you've got the place. You're able to kind of align incentives. You're able to bring all these different stakeholders. You have the folks with the capital. You have the folks who want to operate. These kind of staking services. You have service providers, essentially all sort of in the same marketplace, and you're just trying to really facilitate. Once you get all these people in the same sort of ecosystem, that's when the magic really happens, right? And so for the folks who are, especially there's like 200 different protocols or folks building protocols on EigenLayer right now, using this mechanism you just discussed. Like, what types of things are people building here? Like, what would be some examples of use cases or just different types of what are folks building here?
Like, for instance, one of the most interesting things that you can do from Web 2 is try to get your data and your identity out of Web 2 and turn it into an asset in Web 3. So there's a bunch of people that are using a technology, just a bunch of letters, depending on how much you know about it. It's called ZK-TLS. ZK for zero knowledge proofs, TLS for transport layer security, which is the secure socket layer of the internet. When you run this technology on something like Uber or Airbnb or anything where you've built up your identity and your reputation in Web 2, you can actually take that, Uber, everything you've done as a driver, the thousands of rides, or as a rider, the 5-star rating, you can mint on Web3 a reputational asset that shows if you go to a driver service, or if you want to show a proof of humanhood, or if you want to actually show that you're a upstanding human citizen who should deserve some kind of bonus on your Web3 credit rating, all of these things are actually possible. That's an example of one type of AVS, and there's multiple that are building. Another is computation markets. People, there's this funny joke that I like to say, because everybody talks about the cloud, software runs in the cloud. The reality is that software, so far, nobody's figured out how to run software without hardware. And so you need hardware. So what is the hardware that you need to run? You need CPUs, GPUs, you need memory in all forms, DRAM, SSDs, hard drives. You need networking inside a data center, across a city, across a country, across a world. And you need these things scalable, you need them at high performance, you need them at low cost, and you need them to be super reliable.
Right.
So this is a tremendous transformation. Think about everything that we consider to be the best of class that we need out of public clouds right now. All of that has to come over to Web 3. Fundamentally, if Web 3 is running inside of Web 2 clouds, they're not decentralized. They're not trusted. You see this because what happens if your credentials are pulled and your software is shut down in Web 2? What are you going to do about it? The whole point of crypto protocols is they're unstoppable because someone will always run it. The protocol is always rewarding some new piece of hardware to come in and run your software.
Yeah.
So across there, I can't even say it. I mean, that's dozens of people that are, it's a category called Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, DPIN is the name of the category in crypto. Then there's things like, we hear about proof of humanhood. Did you know there's something called proof of machinehood? So actually proving that a machine was running something versus a human faking out and pretending to be a machine. I mean, it's an interesting thing, but it's useful to know. There's proof of location. If you want to run a network and you want to show that you actually are having the computing resources being spread across all 7 continents, how would you do that? That is a very difficult problem, but people have figured it out. And there's a number of people that are the best of class that are bringing that technology and deploying it on EigenLayer as an AVS. All of these AVSs, when you're a higher level thing like a social protocol or a rideshare protocol or whatever you can imagine as an app level developer using mobile platforms, Android, iPhones, all of these services now become something that you stitch together as you did before, 10, 20, 30 different types of open source software, and then you add your little additional feature which is critical for you, and then you've got an application. So it's all about accelerating innovation. So we accelerate the ability to get sufficient stake. On EigenLayer right now, you can rent $10 billion of security for your protocol. There's nowhere else in crypto that you can do that.
Wow.
You know, if you're starting your own protocol and you need your token to get to 10 billion value before you're considered to be a heavyweight, good luck. On EigenLayer, you can do that instantly, the second that you deploy on mainnet. If you want to show that you're decentralized and you want to show that you don't have 1 or 2 operators who are using you, but you're able to get 20, 30, 100 operators running your software, EigenLayer offers that to you. If you want to find software that has the security level of decentralized trust and has billions of dollars of security behind it, like we're saying, there's dozens of protocols that are already on EigenLayer, and this is the fastest growing area that people are building towards in the crypto space.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And I love the way you put it. It's making a lot of sense in my mind now. Like, you know, I was going to ask, like, why are so many people rushing to build on this? And it's like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's you know, it's like a cheat code in a video game, right? You can just skip all these steps of, okay, how do we get $10 billion worth of value in our protocol? Like, how do we, you know, you're able to kind of just leapfrog this entire major blocker and just basically rent that, you know, for a fraction of the cost of what it would take you otherwise to bootstrap that yourself, right?
Yep.
That's super interesting. Very impressive work and inspiring work you guys are doing, and hopefully like really lowering the barrier to entry for a lot of people.
It's a big team. We have 150 people working in the protocol. Just right now, the scale out for us is immense. I mean, the demand coming into us is more than we can handle, so we keep scaling up. And
last question. We're obviously in Buenos Aires in Argentina right now. Why are you guys here? What's the interest in this region for Eigen?
So I'm very happy to be here. I actually committed to Merge's Web3 conference here in Argentina before the Ethereum Foundation and DevConnect announced they were going to hold the next major Ethereum conference, DevConnect, here in Buenos Aires in November. The reason I'm passionate about it is that for me, Web3 has obviously this great applicability to DeFi and leveling the playing field in the financial realm, really sort of taking it from being a very rigged game that only works for rich people to make more money, and making it possible that everybody has access to the same kind of yields that you normally would have to have if you were, you know, a person who had a tremendous amount of financial resources and capability attached to you.
Yeah.
But Web3 is much more than that. Right now, the internet is fundamentally broken in so many different ways, and it's not enough time in this interview to go through it, but it's a favorite thing that I like to say, which is crypto and the web can completely fix everything that's wrong with the internet. I mean, I'm not disregarding the challenges that crypto also has its problems with fraud and scams and everything else.
Yeah.
But when you look at what has happened with social networking, with creators losing control of the value that they're creating, with Uber drivers getting 70% of their of the fee taken by the platform, not going to them. I mean, when I was at ETH Denver recently, a $12 cab ride had $3.50 going to the driver.
Oh my.
And almost $9 was going to the platform. I didn't actually know it was that bad.
Wow.
So on EigenLayer, there's a team in Indonesia that's building an Uber competitor that 100% of the money that's paid into the platform goes to the driver. And more than that, using EigenLayer and the decentralized security we offer, they're actually putting a massive, you know, billion-dollar type level commitment that they will lose that level of funds if they ever take more than 10% of the funds from a driver. So it's, you know, these types of decentralized trust, it transcends even what you can do on chain. You can make real world commitments with EigenLayer to users. You can guarantee them that your privacy policy on a social networking platform will never become worse than it is now unless the users approve it.
Right.
So these types of Web theory ideas are extremely powerful. I think in other countries, one of the things, like already in the US, you see this, that we have a couple of behemoths that are really pushing AI out into the Web 2 space and kind of amplifying the negative things that have happened in Web 2. Not just in terms of how it delivers the features, but also Web 2 has essentially slowed down in what it offers. You see this in the sense of like social networking platforms, they get disrupted by TikTok coming in from another country. Why did they not invent that technology themselves? Because innovation slows when you have a monopoly. Competition thrives, additional acceleration of innovation. So consumers see better features, faster features, better control and ownership of what they're doing on the internet with Web3. I think that's amplified in countries like Argentina. They have a very burgeoning technology space, but they right now in the Web2 space would not be able to compete with these behemoths. Even major US companies cannot compete with them.
Yeah.
But with Web3, the smallest developer is able to show that they have billions of dollars of trust accredited to them. They were able to show that every computation, every piece of data that they're using, that the privacy that they're guaranteeing is being guaranteed with the crypto economic decentralized trust, the same stuff that makes Bitcoin able to secure $1 trillion of assets on it.
Yeah.
This can be brought to everything we're doing in Web3. And so the same kind of leveling the playing field that we had in the financial space, I want to see, and I think that's such a significant thing outside of the United States, for countries, citizens there, for the politicians, for investors, for startup founders, to realize that this is the best place for them to put their attention, to put their resources, for entire political systems to say this is what we should be trying to encourage in our country, not just for DeFi, but for all of Web2 technologies.
No, I love that. I love the way you're framing that. And even as you're mentioning that, I was thinking, the Uber example is such a good one because I think Uber's it's a revolutionary product. It's obviously
Absolutely.
revolutionized how we transport ourselves around, and it's created a whole sort of new gig economy class of workers that's really opened up a lot of new opportunities for people. But at the same time, it's like, it's just highly exploitative of these.
Yeah.
It's like and I think we're hitting the point where perhaps this sort of VC-backed blitz scaling model of, we're just going to subsidize the heck out of these things for the first 10 years, and then get everyone hooked on the platform and using it, and then all of a sudden it's like time to pay the bill. And
right.
Okay, now we're taking 70% of your earnings because we got to pay back the investors and whatever.
Yeah.
And we're reaching the limits of this type of model, right?
Yeah.
It worked up to a certain point, right? To what you were saying.
Yeah.
And so okay, somebody comes along and they create this sort of decentralized Uber alternative built on EigenLayer, and but an Uber driver is saying oh, that sounds great, but my entire reputation is on this one platform.
That's right.
And I'm kind of stuck here. So as much as I would love to move over to this other thing, my entire reputation is just on this one thing. But if you're creating a way where I can basically tokenize that reputation, move that over to this new thing, then all of a sudden Uber their lock-in is gone. They have no power over these users anymore, right?
Yeah.
Or over these drivers. So that's a super. It's very. I like that example because it's just something everybody uses on a day-to-day basis. I've already taken, just in my time here in Buenos Aires, I've taken 10 of these things, and and you ask the drivers how much of this are you actually getting versus the fee that I'm paying versus what you're getting, and it's usually kind of this eye-opening moment. We're okay, this is probably not an equitable transaction here.
Yeah, at a place like Denver, Eat Denver, I was there for about a week. I spent almost $1,500 on Uber rides. And it pains me to think that $400 of that went to the driver.
Yeah.
$1,100 went to a platform.
Right.
It needs to. You see from an investor point of view, that is what they have to do. Late stage monopolies on venture capital are going to extract that money out because how many billions of dollars did investors sink into that?
Yeah.
They need to get that investment times 100x. That's their model.
Yeah.
So two things that I'll kind of leave us, because I think we need to wrap up soon. One is that in Gen Z, in basically the last 15, 20 years, that the people that are coming to the workforce now, I've seen estimates that over 50% of that population is going to be working in the gig economy. This is not a small thing when 50% of the population is having this level of their funds, being moved into a platform without health insurance, without, any kind of long-term financial security around it. So the idea that Web3 can offer, I just talked about this one aspect of better take rate, but in crypto, there's actually cooperatives that are building models where they have better workers' rights, that they have better insurance and others. It's a whole new way that you can organize society in Web3. It sounds very aloof when I say that.
Yeah.
But that's the potential that we can get out of here.
Yeah, love that. And I think, that resonates with me a lot personally. It's something I try to emphasize to people in these conversations is look, the reason we're in crypto is not so that we can save a few basis points on our, stablecoin transactions or whatever. That's not the value of this technology. Sure, that's nice, but we have an opportunity here to rethink how human behavior, human systems are coordinated in a way that's just more equitable and more fair and ultimately generates more value for more people, right? I think that's really the exciting thing about this technology. So Robert, I really appreciate you coming on the show here. We could have gone on for a lot longer, I assume, but But anyway, Robert Drost of the Eigen Foundation, and we will be back soon with another interview here on Roxham TV at Merge Buenos Aires.